The big one between Port Adelaide and the Eagles. We'll have the last quarter for you live very shortly. But first up, some highlights of the first three quarters. Watch for a nasty injury to David Ugrinic from the Eagles. Here are the highlights.
Tate caught. Shane Bond, Neve, Neiman, underground Ugrinic. Off the legs of Northeast.
Here's the injury to Ugrinic again.
Now watch for Northeast knees, because that's probably what happened. He probably caught one of the chest.
Put comes in late. See from the right?
Yep.
It just comes in over the top.
Well picked.
Yeah.
Ugrinic and Ugrinic in real strife, in terrible pain. So too for the Eagles. Zilla to Morfitt and goal. That's as easy as you can do it at Football Park if you've got the numbers and if you've got the skill. The Eagles are 2 goals, 12 points. Port Adelaide 1-1.
Hayes over there, chance for Brewer. Now Zilla. Infield he goes to Brewer again. Now Zilla. This is Stephen. So it was Jason who set that up. And Stephen has, I think he's kicked it. He has a terrific goal by the Rover. Oh, wonderful stuff.
A free kick. He goes on quickly. He wants Pesh and finds him. Beautifully put.
Good kick.
And he's doing all right, Pesh. He's only been on the ground minutes. Across the face of ground, Zilla, but he leaves it for Shaki. Shaki drops it. This is Neve, I should say, well up the ground. He's given the opportunity, open to Stephen Zilla, into the open goal, and he's booted through his second.
There is Angove, couldn't control it, had it knocked away, picked up by Zilla. That's Jason, long one, up go the forwards and the defenders. Mead got a hand to it, it comes to Zilla again. Will he kick this one? He has. The brothers are combining magnificently. That time it was Jason.
So it indicates that maybe they are just as physical, but they've had 2 shots at goal. The Eagles have had 12. And the Eagles have had 60 more possessions, but this one will be valuable. Run it home, Tinny Geneva. I told you he might fire them, and he might just have done it. They're second, and boy, do they need it.
Welcome back to Football Park. Hello, everyone. Well, Timmy Geneva's goal, only the second, Neville, in the whole game. Have you ever seen anything like this from a Port Adelaide side?
No, I haven't, and you can go back to the early 70s. I think 1971, they were in a grand final, 7 goals down at half-time. They lost that by 20 points, but they won't get out of it today. They are in real strife. Let's have a look at the quarter-by-quarters.
3-5 to 1-1 at quarter-time. 9-8 to 2 goals, 4 at half-time. It's three-quarter time here. 12-15-87 to 2 goals, 4-16. I don't think anyone could have predicted this in their wildest dreams. The Eagles well and truly on their way to the grand final.
The bookies have them at even money. Morfitt 3, Zilla, that's Stephen Zilla 2, Shaki's kick 2, Nickel 2, and brother Jason just the 1. And for Port Adelaide, Ango and Geneva, 1 each only. And two goals only for Port Adelaide for their entire forward line is extraordinary.
Yes, OK, let's now go down to the boundary line, and I think it's David Mackay speaking with someone.
Yes, with Andrew Taylor. Mark, suspended Andrew Taylor. Andrew, looks like the Eagles are going to go through to the grand final. You will be available to play.
Yes, I will be. This is the last game that I have to miss, so from there here on. So with our seconds losing yesterday, I'd probably more than likely have a run next week in the 2s.
OK, so the option now is that you play in the 2s next week, you play pretty well, you go into the grand final. Where are they going to play you? Shaki seems to be playing OK. It's tough.
It's very tough, isn't it? It's one of those things that has happened all year at the Eagles, that if you miss a game, you know, usually it takes a bit of a while to get back in, and you really have to earn your spot through to seconds. So I'll leave that all up to the Max Committee, and Brucey and they can decide what they'd like to do. You know, I understand with the incident that I was involved with, and I, you know, obviously take the blame for that myself, and, you know, understanding this situation could have happened. So all I can do is leave it in their hands, and if they feel that I'm warranted a position, well, then I get a position, I guess.
Well, it's apparent that you're going to play in the grand final. Now it's just a matter of whether you play Norwood or Port Adelaide. What was your game plan going into this match against Port?
Oh, we just have worked for the last 5 or 6 weeks on building up an atmosphere and so forth, and that's all we've really done. We've built up. We always thought we were a chance to beat Port, and of course you've got to obviously think that way. So, you know, we haven't done anything special, anything outrageous. We've just stuck to the game plan that we've used all year.
I thought today your attack at the Port Adelaide player with the ball has been nothing short of extraordinary. Your quick movement of hand to ball to move the ball on quickly, and quick movement into the forward line. I haven't seen you play this well since the Foundation Cup Grand Final.
Yeah, well, it's something, again, that we've worked on to try to, you know, be harassing the opposition player every time they get the ball. It's obvious an area, whether you're getting 100 kicks in a day or you're getting 1, you can always harass somebody, and that's an area that we've really worked on at the club.
Well, Tails, we might come along and watch you play in next week's game, see how you front up. Let's hope for your sake that you make it into the grand final. Good luck.
Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot.
And Andrew Taylor, if he comes back next week, he will have only played one game in the past 5 weeks. The selectors will have to take that into account. The Eagles looking like having another week's break, so a hard selection choice, Schache and or Taylor, maybe both.
There was a nasty incident. David Ugrinic was rather heavily injured in the first half of the game. What was the situation there, Neville?
Well, the ball was on centre wing, and he kept his body over the top of it. He had players coming at him, Rosonico and not Rosonico, Northeast, and I think it was Borlase finally, who finally clipped his right side, and I think he's either damaged the cartilages or maybe even broken a rib. But the reports are he might be available. I'd very much doubt it. Bruce Winter in the box seat.
OK, who are your best for... let's go through the Eagles first. They've got so many, haven't they?
Well, they have, and I'll give Chapman the lead there. He's had 16 and 7. He's been an absolute architect in the centre of the ground. Payes has been dazzling on his wing with 11 and 9. Jason Zilla, both the Zilla boys. Jason 15 and 17. How about that? 32 touches. And Stephen Zilla 16 and 7. Morford's been in there. He's kicked 3, had 13 and 5. For Port Adelaide, I'd have to say Phillips, Rosonico, Northeast, maybe Foster, but they certainly haven't had a forward. John Cale, he's in deep trouble. He knows it, and I think he'd be planning for a prelim final against Norden. What a showdown that'd be.
What would he have said there?
He'd be simply talking about the jumper, the culture, the pride, and the fact that they've got to go into they've got to be in form, playing well to take on Norwood.
We're going to have a look at Greg Phillips's backside, if you'll excuse the way I introduced that. There it is. There, he got that bruise last week. Are you surprised he played, Neville?
Well, the panel would have left it back to Greg to make that decision himself. He certainly wouldn't have taken the ground if he thought he was going to be a liability to Port Adelaide. He took the ground wearing everything but the back seat of his car strapped to his tail. And after half-time, he took it away and decided to play without it, but he's been in pain several times.
Second semi, last quarter. The winner to go into the grand final, the Eagles and Port Adelaide. It's 12-15 to 2 goals 4. And to call the last quarter, here is Neville Roberts.
Grand final honours at stake in the second semi-final. They led by 16, 46 now, 71 points the Eagles, and they're fired up. I don't think the Maggies can get back. In fact, it would be almost impossible. Rosonico, a quick kick, but Chapman, the player, the architect in the centre for the Eagles, is doing everything right. Payes, now Phillips, a handball wide. Geneva working hard, but finding touches rare indeed. He runs his 10, and his chip short is a poor one, trying to find Williams, who started well, had a few shots at goal, missed them. Nickel, a run on the ball. His handball to Tottenham, just on the ground, is good. Payes will get this. He continues to be a high possession getter. Now the runner is Brewer. In they go again, the Eagles, towards half forward, and Phillips again continues to play an important role. He won't give it up. Borlase, Kluzak there. The new boy, Justin Waite, or Julian Waite, I should say. Here he is again, only 18 years of age. Rosonico caught with the ball. They can't get an easy kick, the Magpies. Finally, it's Pesh into the open goal. And the Eagles might have just sealed their grand final berth.
Do you mind? Neville, run us through this young man, Nick Pesh.
Came on the ground off the bench when Ugrinic was taken off in that second quarter. And he had some very, very important touches. Finding space. He's a very talented player. He's a quick player, and unlucky probably not to be in the starting lineup at the expense of the Zilla brothers, but he's found his place today. A quick goal, and he's been an important part of this second semi-final win.
77 points, 13-15 to 2 goals 4. I think we'd have to go back a long, long way to see when Port Adelaide were beaten by this far. Still, there's 25 minutes left to go. Tate takes a very good mark at centre half-back. So the Eagles staring a grand final berth in the face. Short passes on, Brewer. And what an exciting situation that is for this new club. Looking for Filippo, who makes a bit of space for himself. Now, he's got Zilla if he wants him. He may have to use him because Phillips came at him with his big body and uses Zilla. That was very well done. Now to Tottenham, who kicks inside 50 over the head of Schache. Down there is Northeast, who does the right thing there, the percentage thing. And he kicks, knocks it out of bounds. Norwood defeated Glenelg by 10 points. That's the first semi. So Norwood into the prelim final and Glenelg out for 1993.
Yes, curtains for the Tigers. And Norwood did it pretty well here at Footy Park earlier. Angove turns the ball around his body And whilst we have a break, Chalmers off the ground. And he's actually gone to full forward, in fact. And Mead has gone into the ruck. He hasn't had the best of days, Chalmers. And Neiman has had a big day out. Football Park, we're live. The second semi-final action. We welcome all our visitors around South Australia, Northern Territory and parts of Southeast Asia.
13-15-93, the Eagles. The Magpies 2-4-16. Phillips having to try and control the football, does it nicely to Rosonico. They've got a bit of run here now, Port Adelaide. Here's Foster trying to gather the bouncing ball and does well. Brewer comes at him. There's the kick. It's a pretty good one inside 50. Down there is Williams. Hits the deck. A chance now for Tyler, who's hardly had a touch or a sniff of the football. Over there again is Foster. Chance for Chalmers, who, as we just told you, has gone to full forward. Picked up by Foster again. 3 or 4 touches in about 15 seconds. Well done by Chapman. Now Pays in a bit of trouble. Knocked on cleverly by Rosonico. No, straight into the path of Nicol from the centre of the ground. A good kick out to Filippo, who once again has made some space. He's getting away from Phillips. Here's Filippo, 75 metres out, looking for someone inside 50. Shacky's the man. Well done. Oh, this is Cluzak. Cluzak with a chip pass, looking down there for Morford. Couldn't control it. Has 2 to beat, and Mead did very well under the circumstances.
Well, I don't think he had any other options, did he, at all?
No.
Now, he's in ruck. Chalmers is off, so he's got to do a lot of work now.
The kick out. Delaney finds Rowan Smith well up the ground, probably on the ball. He sends it in long, just over the centre. Tyler searches for it at centre-half forward now with Chalmers at full forward. Foster, one of the best for Port Adelaide. They haven't had many. In it goes high. Spear, Chalmers. The crummer is Williams. Turns it in a miraculous goal around the body. Great football, the Magpies, and they are never dead. His first. Port Adelaide, can you believe it? Just their third.
Well, that is their first goal since 15 minutes into the second quarter. Unheard of if you're a Port Adelaide fan. Just came up from the interview downstairs, and to hear Port Adelaide supporters complaining is very, very unusual. And until Stephen Williams kicked that goal, Port Adelaide were looking at the lowest ever second semi-final score.
5 minutes, last quarter. Yeah, good goal there by Stephen. Whipped it around with his left boot and banged it through. Peter Swar's the man with him. Stephen Williams alongside. Back in the centre. There's the bounce, and Mead wins it. Goes to Bond. Now, the umpire's sorted a free kick out. It is going the way of Port Adelaide. It's going to go to Bond. Now, what's happening here? Yeah, back into the centre it goes. Timmy Ginnivan going right off at the moment. There's Bond's kick. Kicks into the pocket. Long one. Back there is Spear and also Tate. Bond, this is the other Bond, number 12, and that's Shane down there as well.
I would suspect, Mark, that Tim Ginnivan is now playing mind games, getting ready for a grand final assault, and he's just letting blokes know that he's coming back.
Jamie Tate clears the zone, goes to Tottenham on the far side, and the Eagles about to go into attack.
Yes, I think David Mackay is spot on there. Timmy Ginnivan just saying, we'll see you blokes again, and it won't be like this. Delaney comes out under a lot of pressure all day as he finds Mead on the half-back line. He puts his kick through the centre, but Nicol judged it well, and he's got a smile on his face. Why wouldn't he?
It's a great psychological boost, though, for them, Neville, isn't it?
Oh, it's an enormous boost. They've met 3 times this year. They won the Foundation Cup encounter pre-season, and whilst you might doubt the seriousness of that competition, they've met twice during the year. Port Adelaide have won them both by 12 and 29 points. Zilla to goal, underneath it, Cluzak, and he wraps it up simply. Metres out from goal. Now, he'll either give this off or use the reverse punt. 3-4 points he's kicked inside, and he's found Tottenham just on the ground, a bit loose by the Magpie defence.
I think the Eagles are playing on sheer adrenaline now and confidence. Port Adelaide, on the other hand, know that they face Norwood next week in the preliminary final, and right round the ground, you watch players, they'll be talking to the Eagles, they'll be telling them, they'll be having a heart attack on the ball in the last 15 minutes just to let them know.
Tottenham from 25 has missed to the right, and Bruce Winter looks on. He smiles. Frank Leonard on his left. Remember, Frank Leonard played for West Adelaide. He coached Norwood's under-19 teams to a lot of success.
95 to 22. The Eagles lead. Comfortable one. Here's Zilla again. 55 metres out. Long bomb. Shacky's got his eye on it. Delaney from behind. Well destroyed by Delaney, knocks it to the front of the pack, picked up by Zilla. Gee whiz, he is everywhere, that young man. Phillips should wrap this up, and does. Hand passes back to Delaney, the combination working okay on that occasion. Foster's got to make a yard, can't do so. He did get there reasonably quickly, but not quick enough. It's out of bounds.
Mark, that's one of the very rare occasions today that Port Adelaide have been able to switch the direction of play, have a loose man running and move it out of defence. The Eagles blocking players, Ruck Rovers and Rovers across half forward, have just sent it back every time.
But even when they had the play then, they failed to find the jumper. Unusual for Delaney. Such an accurate player with his leg and hand. Mead, he's kicked to half forward, is spoiled. The crummer is Chapman. Best on ground Chapman, he's kicked northeast, spills a chest mark. You won't see that very often. Zilla, Totham, a throw maybe. It's let go. Phillips, a stalwart at half back. He'll keep on working. Filippo, his immediate opponent, held, no possession, and he will get a free kick. He's 40 out from, nearly 50 out from goal.
I'd love to know the stats, if we could get them on free kicks. It'd be very interesting.
Right, I can give you that, fellas. It's 23 to the Eagles, 24 to Port Adelaide.
Nothing in it.
Not much in that.
But you might give us a total of possessions, David. I know that the Eagles had 49 more in the first quarter, 64 more in the second quarter, and it continues that way. Filippo from 50, too long, and at the back of the pack, Chalmers dropped what he otherwise should have taken.
Well, let me tell you now, the Eagles have had about 350 possessions. Port Adelaide, on the other hand, have had about 220, so that'll give you an idea. The Eagles have had 55 marks, Port Adelaide 45.
So comprehensively controlling this game, the Eagles. Morford at the back of the pack.
Yes, good kick out by Delaney. Got about 75 metres after it bounced a couple of times. Here's Foster again, 85 metres from goal. Kicks inside 50. Up goes Mead. Waiting at the base of the pack, though, was Rogers. Did that superbly and gave it to Pesh. So they're away again, as we've seen them so many times before today from half-back. Big Stewie Nicol, about 95 metres out. Long kick inside 50. Delaney, was it a push in the back? No, it wasn't, according to the umpire. Rogers' kick is a good one to centre half-back now. Here's Tim Ginniver, out to Bond. So they've created a man here. Running with him is Neve. Bond kicks into the pocket, and Mead's got the footy. And David, we haven't seen that very often.
No, we haven't seen the ball moving in quickly like that, but I tell you what else they've done again. They've gone wide. They're being forced wide all the time by the Eagles' defence, so even when it does come in quickly, they're kicking from difficult angles.
Mead at full forward now, and he's kicked into the man on the mark, and that, ladies and gentlemen, sums up the Port Adelaide situation.
Fat lady singing, no doubt about that. In fact, she's doing an encore. And Spear, put him amongst your best players. He's done a terrific job on Tyler at full forward.
And, of course, Primke at centre half-back.
Well, they've really controlled, Neville, the goal-to-goal line, yes, and in the ruck-roving department.
Superbly.
Yes, they opened up in that fashion too. Neve issuing instructions. He's been a performer, has been all year. Certainly hasn't let himself down today. But the Zillas, Pays, Chapman, Brewer, Cluzak, they all were in the they're all in the money early in the game, and they gave the Eagles a real electrifying start, if I can use that word, to get 16 points ahead. And as we've seen, 46 at half, 71 at three-quarter time. We're 10 minutes in, and it's a 74-point advantage in favour of the Eagles as Neve takes it over the line.
He's done a tremendous job, you know. It was only earlier in the season that Steve Guy had a mortgage on the back pocket.
Yeah, haven't seen him for a while, have we?
Well, he got injured. Neve got his chance, and we haven't seen Steve Guy since.
Yes, he's got his teeth into the back pocket, and they won't move him now. He's guaranteed himself a grand final berth with today's performance.
Here's Tape and Bond. Bond got it out to his brother. That was Troy to Shane, and there's Zilla.
It's interesting, Neville. Where are the Eagles going to fit Andrew Taylor into this lineup?
Well, it has to be at the expense of Shaki, surely. They couldn't go in with Shaki, Nicol, Neiman, Taylor. It would be an overkill for height, I'm sure.
Rowan Smith tries to pick up Morford, who's kicked 3 goals, does well, somehow gets the hand pass to Chapman. He got it from Totham. Now Morford's got it again, so he's on the end of a string of hand passes to left half forward. Oh, Nick Pearce, you are playing a blinder, young man.
It's a return to form, isn't it? His mid-year form was average, but this is special.
Well, it's great to see too. Inside 50 goes the kick. Out comes Shaki and also Cluzak, kicked off the ground. Delaney is running hard. He hasn't given up. He runs into the back there of Totham, and Stewie Totham will get the free kick in front of the members. Terrific mark here by Nick Pesh. Well done in opposition to Julian Waite. Now Pays, 75 metres out. Long bomb. Shaki and Filippo. Filippo's got his hands on it. He's got his hands on it again. Knocks it out into the path of Pesh, and Pesh has missed to the right. So a promising build-up.
1 goal, 1 Pesh, and he's had 21 possessions since coming on early in the second quarter. So in 2.5 quarters, to pick up that many stats, he really has been busy.
And he's booted a goal. Bruce Winter's first year as coach of the Eagles. They've been in 5 finals, or 5 finals in total. They've only won 4 of them. They're 6th today. They're guaranteed of another, of course, the grand final. 40 years since West Torrens.
Joey Kinlow was the coach.
1953, and won't the fans remember that? Delaney, short and finds Rosonico, one of their best, puts it down loose, backwards to Chapman, still picking up touches, and his delivery. This time it's a stray. It hasn't been for the majority of the day. That is Julian Waite, who's down behind play, well, in the play, I should say, and he will receive a free kick. So the Eagles, they met Port Adelaide in round 8. They lost that by 12 points. They met them in round 17 in the home and away season and lost that by 29. They've been threatening to do this all the time, though, because at Alberton they kicked a massive 14-20 to Port Adelaide's 19-2 that day. 14 more scoring shots, but didn't beat them. Troy Bond still trying hard.
13-19 to 3 goals 4. So what's that? 29-32 scoring shots to 7. Free kick against Zilla.
And 50.
And 50 metres to boot. Rowan Smith, have a look at this. The crowd don't like it. That's the Eagles supporters, and I can tell you they're here in force. A lot of the Magpie fans, I would think, may have disappeared. So Rowan Smith will kick from about 65 metres. There it is, good distance. Mead storming out, who's playing at full forward. Tim Ginniver, the rover. Mead does the tackling. It's in the forward pocket. The umpire having a good hard think about it and then decides holding the ball. Well, dear oh dear, took a long, long time to decide that. Came in and Port Adelaide will get the free kick. I think that's Jamie Tate smiling, but I don't think he's too happy about it. Perhaps it's just his expression.
Oh, I think that's just the irony of the situation.
Gee whiz.
I mean, if this was a 5-point ball game, I'll guarantee you he wouldn't be smiling.
No.
But it's almost as if they can afford to be benevolent.
Here he is, 13 kicks, 3 marks, 4 hand passes. Tim Ginniver, drop punt from about 25 metres, nowhere near. And Primke has taken a mark right in front of goal. Gee whiz.
He's had a big day out, Paul Primke, and he's played very well at centre-half back since Bruce Winter put him there. His kick over half-back. Nickel, front position, and Chalmers. Just a bad dream for him today.
He just couldn't believe this is the same side that destroyed Glenelg last week.
No, they're playing without a lot of purpose today. Short to find Morford is good.
Well, technically, David, it's not, of course, because we've got Wakeland and also Waite in it, 2 very inexperienced, with respect, very inexperienced players when it comes to league.
And don't forget also, Scotty Hodges kicked 9 last week. He's not there today, and they certainly miss him. They haven't had a striker all day. The South Australian National Football League goal-kicking leader on 90 is Mark Taylor, and
I think there'd be a lot of people sitting at home outraged that Hodges spent so little time on the bench yesterday for the Crows when he really could have made the difference here. So it's interesting how Port Adelaide people, as Norwood people did with Stephen Rowe, respond to the Crows.
Very much so. Hodges will be back next week, though.
He is available.
So with the ball is Shane Bond. The centre of the ground. He tries to find Williams, but with him and right with him all day has been Peter Swars. He's had a good day. He's restricted Williams to 8 and 12 and 1 goal. So not a bad performance. He's a dangerous player, Williams, and he can cut you up in the forward line if he's got the space. Tyler tries to break through. A chance. Boulay is absent today. And Rosonico to ground. Boulay's again. They're still trying the Maggies as Ginniver gives it over to Troy Bond. He's got an opportunity now. He sends it in high. His range here.
This kid is a find, truly.
Yes,
Drafted by Carlton, but the pace that he's got.
Here he is, Troy Bond from 35 metres out, and he has banged it through for his first. So Port Adelaide at long last move along. They're 4-4-28. The Eagles 13-19-97, and we've played 20 minutes. Let's have a look at the goal kickers.
Yes, if you run through the Eagles, Morford has 3, Nicol has 2, Lawrence Shackey has 2, Stephen Ziller has 2. They're the main goal scorers. Angove, Jennifer, Bond and Williams with 1 each. It's a pretty ordinary goal-scoring machine of Port Adelaide.
To right it is. The Eagles are 13-19. Port Adelaide 4-4. Superb day. A 69-point margin. Rogers off half-back. The smother is good. Boulais again. And Smith. A Bronx cheer for the blonde bombshell.
Well,
I hope they're not Magpie supporters.
He wasn't too bad in the first quarter, but we haven't sided him in the second, third or fourth.
Well, he's been a great player for Port Adelaide, and I tell you what, 3 and 5 isn't his best day out.
3 marks.
And 3 marks, but he has been a great player for South Australia and also for Port Adelaide, and he doesn't deserve that. Offline. So the Maggies are 4-5. We've got 19,714 people at Football Park today, and there's a few of them.
Well, I think one of the reasons that Port Adelaide are so successful, their fans do not accept failure, and there are some very aggressive, unhappy Port Adelaide fans out there this afternoon.
Here's Ziller clearing away from the back pocket. Target out there is his brother. No, didn't go quite that far. Oh, Stewie Nicol just knocked it on cleverly and did very well. Now Ziller, now Phillippo. And Phillips comes at him late, almost 50. No, Phillippo's got it. He's tucked away in the left forward pocket.
Honours shared, you reckon, between Phillips and Phillippo?
Yeah, perhaps.
Or Phillips just ahead on points?
Yeah, perhaps. He's done very well considering that injury, as we said, David. Northeast, short chip pass was okay inside their own defensive area. Geneva now to Delaney from half-back. He clears to the wing on this grandstand side. Here's Pays, who's done very well. And Rogers, and it's out of bounds.
Look at the tightness of the Eagles' defence. Rogers has hardly had a kick taken away from him. Spear at fullback has done a terrific job, and Primke at centre-half back has taken D. Smith right out of the game.
As you said, David, the goal-to-goal line's been superb, hasn't it, for the Eagles?
So a reverse of last year's second semi-final, where Port Adelaide beat the Eagles by 39 points. Smith puts it up high. A chance for Mead, he couldn't take it. Chapman still working hard. What a great player he's become for the Eagles out of the centre. Morford looks very enthusiastic and fit today. He's booted through 3. He gave it off to Tate, and the kick to Cluzak was good. He spilled it, the youngster, under pressure. Closing on him was Shane Wakeland. He's got him cold, and holding the ball is the right decision. Made no effort and dragged it in under him. That's the new rule. And young Cluzak unable to get rid of it. So Port Adelaide will meet Nord next week. Nord have had wins over Central District in the elimination final, and the first semi they beat Glenelg today. So they've earned a preliminary final spot. What a great day that'll be next week here. A good script for the SANFL Nord and Port final. Only one will go through though to meet the Eagles in the 93 final. And if not, to wrap it up, if it's already not wrapped up, Lawrence Shackey will just add some finishing touches. High, Long and Delaney caught under it. A 3 if not a mark. So Lawrence Shackey has 2. Replaced Andrew Taylor, reported in the last minor, or second to last minor round game, and will be available only for the grand final. Shackey, his 3rd. The Eagles now 14-19, Port Adelaide 4-5.
14-19 to 4-5, as Neville said. This is a comprehensive victory in anyone's language. And the Eagles will play in their first grand final. The Magpies will have to come and do this all over again next week against Norwood. And Neville, they'll really need to regroup, won't they?
Yes, it's pretty hard to recover from this sort of shellacking. It damages your self-esteem and confidence. But if any team in the local comp can do it, Port Adelaide certainly can. There it is, the Eagles by 14-19 to Port Adelaide 4-5. And I'll just take a moment to congratulate Stix Phillips from North Adelaide on his Magarey medal win. The 12th for the North Adelaide Football Club. A popular personality, a state player this year, and he deserved his win in the 93 Magarey medal. The ball is at half forward for Port Adelaide. Primke, one of their best, goes backwards to Tate. He's caught, that's holding the ball. Holding the man, it's the wrong way in my opinion. And Timmy Jenner has to hand over the pill.
Have you seen the umpiring today, Neville?
I think there was a couple of bad blues early. Other than that, I think both of them have performed pretty well, but it hasn't been a hard game to perform well in.
Neve's kick travels about 55 metres up toward left half forward. The Magpies in all sorts of trouble here. They'll really need to regroup and get themselves organised for next week. Stuart Nicol, little short chip pass looking for Morfitt. Almost northeast, Shackey at the back. Northeast tried to kick it off the ground. Cluzak is there as well. And there'll be a ball up dead set in front of the Eagle goal. It's 14-19, 103. The Magpies 4-5-29. Can the Eagles get another goal? Rosonico there, a chance. Chapman was at the back of him. Smith tried to kick it out of mid-air. Now a chance for Foster, who's had some valuable touches. Left half forward. Tyler, who's come out towards centre half forward, or to a half forward flank at least, because Mead's gone to full forward. Williams hovering over the pack. So too Bond. In there also is Neve doing some strong tackling, some physical work, and there'll be a ball up again.
Simon Neve, 14 kicks, 11 handballs, 25 in total, and a very serious competitor. Kevin Chambers and Tim Pfeiffer in control of this game today. Williams goes wide, the ball A's. The handball doesn't sit with him purposely. Williams back in. Chapman's got him. Ginniver now. The umpire let it go. Ball A's desperately. Gives it over to Shane Bond. Tries to weave his way out of trouble but can't. Tyler has had a dirty day at the office. He kicked 90 for the year.
He's gone.
Well, he's gone that time, but he'll fight again in the prelim final. And Port Adelaide not relishing these conditions here at all today, and would be happy to hear the final siren. It can only be minutes away. As Phillips on Filippo. I pushed him in the arm. You can't be serious, he says. So Filippo, free kicked at half forward. Over the 50 he goes. Replay, make your own choice. With a chance there was Waite. Shackey off the ground, he won't. Now he will. Belts it towards goal and he hits the aluminium. So they're offline. So typically they've been offline against Port Adelaide all year. Look at that, 14-20. Now that's the score they kicked at Alberton in round 8 and lost the game. That day, Port Adelaide kicked 19-2. Well, they're 4-5 at the moment, and the absence of major strikers is why they're 75 points down. And as I said, in round 17, they beat the Eagles by 29 points. Again, the Eagles were well and truly offline. They kicked 21-13 that day, and the Magpies 26-13.
Bond and Tape. This is Shane Bond. He's a very good player, we know that. He'll bounce back. Rogers half volleys it quite superbly, looking for support. Rowan Smith, back it goes to Tyler, far side of the ground, getting rather dark around Football Park. Of course, the lights are on here. Up goes Mead, almost, didn't quite hang on there. Now Ginniver with a sweeping hand pass. Williams is one of about 4 players charging goalward, but 2 or 3 of them in front of him, Neville, were Eagles players.
They're too quick. They have been too quick everywhere today, and that's a real concern. The grand final spot now belongs to the Eagles. The only factor left is who will challenge them. The preliminary finals next week, it'll be between Port Adelaide and Norwood. 74-point margin in favour of the Eagles. 14-20, 104. Port Adelaide 4-6-30. They deserve it, the Eagles. They finished top of the SANFL ladder with 15 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw. They're ecstatic. Their coach, his first year, Bruce Winter, he must be ecstatic too. They get a week off, and how valuable will that be, Mark?
Well, they couldn't beat Port Adelaide during the home and away. They beat them in the Foundation Cup Grand Final, but they have walloped the Magpies here today. The final margin, 74 points as the flags start to fly. David Mackay down on the boundary line. It's over to you, David.
Bruce, congratulations. I don't think you would have expected to have beaten Port Adelaide by over 10 goals today.
I expected a win, but no, I thought it'd be much closer than that.
I thought it was a terrific team effort, particularly from the defence. Your defenders today were rock solid.
Yeah, they were actually superb. But then again, I think you'd go through the whole side. I don't think we had a passenger today. I think you'd find it very difficult to find a player today that was actually beaten in his position.
You've got 2 weeks now to prepare for either Port Adelaide or Norwood in the grand final. You've got to try and fit Andrew Taylor in. Do you see a spot for him?
Yeah, I mean, he was a focal point for us. He's also tremendous on-field leadership. We've got Wayne Wiedemann lurking around too.
David Ugrinik today injured. What's the extent of that?
Well, we're not sure. He got a solid bump on the ribs. We're hoping it's just bruising.
That's about the ideal preparation to go in. A week off, a big win over your second semi-final opponent. Sit back confidently, have a good look at next week's preliminary final.
Yeah, our approach this next fortnight will be the same as the last approach. We'll train 3 times this week. Train on Saturday. We'll train Saturday. We'll come and have a look at the game on Sunday, and then we'll build it up the following week.
I thought at one stage your inaccurate kicking was going to be deja vu of Port Adelaide down at Alberton, where you kicked yourself out of the game. Did that run through your mind?
No, not at all. Particularly when Morph kicked a couple through, I thought, oh, well, we might have a good day today.
I don't know that I've ever seen a league coach this relaxed after a second semi-final.
Oh, well, still a long way to go. I mean, you know, we've been training since November the 16th to play on October the 2nd, so the business has only just started.
The pundits would have you as favourites. How do you see that reaction?
Well, I mean, I don't think that means a great deal. You know, people would have had Port favourite today. It just doesn't mean anything in finals these days, I don't reckon.
We'd suspect that if Port Adelaide do get through to the grand final, we're going to see a very physical encounter today. Did it surprise you how they really didn't attack you physically today?
Oh, I mean, I think they just played exactly the same way as they played all year. I think we were just prepared for it a lot better in this game.
You really did exploit their lack of pace today.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the lack of pace is a little bit in the head. I mean, people keep saying that if you got control of the footy and you're throwing it around and you get someone out into space, the leg speed probably doesn't count for a lot.
Bruce, we'll see you grand final day. Good luck then.
Thanks very much.
Well done,
So David Mackay speaking there with a very relaxed Bruce Winter, the coach of the Eagles, checking the quarter by quarters if you've just joined us. No, it's not an optical illusion. That is exactly what happened today. 3-5 to 1-1 at quarter time. The Eagles led. Then they exploded. 9-8 to 2-4. It was 12-15 to 2-4 in the third quarter. They didn't score anything at all in that second and third term by Port. And then 14-20, 104 to 4 goals, 6, 30 points. A comprehensive victory.
Yes, it was. In the absence of Scott Hodges, last week it was the Scott Hodges show. This week they couldn't find a striker. Ango, Jennifer, Bond and Williams, just 1 goal each. And for the Eagles, Morford and Shackey shared the lead with 3 goals. Stephen Ziller with 2, Nickel with 2, and Jason Ziller with 1. And the Ziller boys between them had a superb day out at Football Park.
They did miss Hodges, but it was much more than that, wasn't it, Neville?
Well, it was. The Eagles started superbly. They had Chapman on... yes, you can just play with that cord there if you like, Mark. They started with Chapman out of the centre, who was the architect of so many of their